Have you ever thought about how a single, powerful idea could be passed down, hand to hand, mind to mind, for thousands of years? Well, today, we're tracing exactly that. A kind of golden chain, this incredible lineage of teachers and students. It's really a story about how you keep a profound idea alive and pure through all the centuries. So let's jump in.
So yeah, how do you actually do that? Think about it. In a world with no printing press, no internet, how does a really complex spiritual teaching survive? How do you stop it from getting twisted or misunderstood or, just completely forgotten over millennia? That's the big puzzle we're going to piece together today. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get a handle on this whole idea of an unbroken chain. Then, we'll trace it all the way back to the very beginning, meet some of the key people who carried the torch, see how it got to the modern world, and finally, really dig into why this whole lineage system is so crucial to its followers. Okay, so let's start with the system itself, the actual mechanism that was designed to solve that whole problem of preservation. In Sanskrit, there's a special word for it, Parampara. Parampara. The word literally means an uninterrupted succession, and it's built on this core principle that true spiritual knowledge isn't something you just invent or figure out on your own. Nope. It's something you have to receive from a genuine teacher, who is part of a verifiable, unbroken chain that goes all the way back to the original source. You can almost think of it like a master craftsman passing down a family secret. Each new generation has to learn directly from the master, right? That's how you make sure the craft stays pure. In the exact same way, Parampara acts as this spiritual quality control system. It's there to make sure the message doesn't get watered down or changed just because of someone's personal opinion. Right? So every chain has to have a first link. Every river has a source. So where does this whole stream of knowledge actually begin? Let's trace it all the way back to its origin, based on the source material we're looking at. According to this tradition, the river begins with Krishna. From there, the knowledge flows to Brahma. Brahma then shares it with the great sage Narada, and Narada passes it to Vyasa. This sequence you're seeing here, it establishes the chain's divine and super ancient roots. Every single teacher who comes after is seen as a channel for this original wisdom, not as someone making up their own stuff. Now, the full chain we're looking at has 32 names. But instead of just reading a long list, let's zoom in and meet a few of the most pivotal figures. These are the folks who were guardians and amplifiers, the ones who made sure this tradition didn't just survive, but actually got deeper over the centuries. So we just met Vyasa as the fourth link, and his role was absolutely monumental. I mean, can you imagine the task, taking all of these vast, complex oral traditions, the Vedas, the Upanishads, and then writing them all down? He basically created the foundational library for this entire spiritual civilization. It's incredible. Okay, let's flash forward several centuries to Madhva, who's the fifth link in the chain. He showed up during a time of really intense philosophical debate in India. And he wasn't just a teacher, this guy was a master logician. He basically built this super strong theological framework around the tradition, making sure it could stand up to any intellectual challenge. And then comes this period of major revitalization, all spearheaded by Lord Chaitanya. The 22nd link, he's seen as this amazing social and spiritual reformer who really pushed for a path of devotion that was open to absolutely everyone, no matter who you were. He literally took the teachings out of the quiet temples and into the streets with singing and public gatherings, sparking a massive movement. So how does a chain that started in antiquity even make it to the 19th and 20th centuries? Well, this is where we meet the modern torchbearers, the ones who got this ancient wisdom ready for a global audience. This timeline shows you that final crucial handoff. It's like a relay race. In the late 1800s, you have Bhaktivedanta who kind of repackaged the teachings for the modern mind. The baton gets passed to the Saint Gaura-Kishora, then to his brilliant student Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who built this huge mission in India. And finally, his student, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, was the one tasked with taking that mission to the rest of the world. So from Krishna all the way at the beginning to Prabhupada in the 20th century, what the source material gives us is this direct, named lineage of 32 successive spiritual masters. That number itself, 32, is so significant because it represents that unbroken continuity that the whole system is built on. All right, so we've traced the chain, right? From its divine origin all the way to the modern day. But this brings us to the biggest question of all. Why bother? What's the real power in keeping such a detailed line of succession going? For people who follow this path, the value of Parampara really boils down to these four things. First, Authenticity. You know you're getting the original message, not a bad copy. Second, continuity. This proves it's not some new fad. Then there's authority. The teachings come from a real, verifiable source. And maybe the coolest part is the legacy. It creates this living, direct connection between today and the ancient past. And this quote from our source text just nails that sense of reverence within the chain. It doesn't just say Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was a great scholar. It specifically identifies him as the spiritual master of the final link, Prabhupada. You see, the identity of every teacher is totally tied to the one who came before and the one who comes after. So what we've traced today is pretty extraordinary when you think about it. It's a single, continuous chain of knowledge that's said to stretch from a divine ancient source, passed through generations of sages and philosophers in India, all the way to a global stage in the 20th century. This whole idea of the golden chain is just a powerful way to preserve wisdom. And it kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What are the chains of knowledge that shape our own lives? You know, from our families, our teachers, our culture, what ideas have been passed down to us, and who were the links in that chain? Thanks for exploring us with us.